It's very, very hard to focus on one thing without the mind wandering off to little places. And that's how the attention's actually meant to work, okay? So it's nothing wrong with it, but it's when we start to be aware that it does dart around. Attention is basically the gateway to the way we perceive and sense our life. It is so incredibly powerful. Your reality of life is all based on what your attention is doing and kind of the health of your attention. I want to talk about types of attention, so you can see that not all attention is equal. The type of attention that we probably are most familiar with is our flashlight of attention. So this is when, I don't know, you've got a piece of work, or in this example, you're in a conversation and somebody's talking and you want to really kind of focus on what they're saying so your attention is stable. And if you break it down to kind of what that means socially, you're able to focus on that person talking, make them feel like they're being listened. You can follow and sustain the train of thought that might make you think of a question that's relevant that you might ask. And then you can turn your flashlight on your emotional state as well. Like, how has that made me feel? Or I noticed something that's come up there. So our floodlight is, you stand in that room and you're aware of maybe the coffee that you're holding is starting to go a little bit cold. Maybe somebody walks in the room that you have, you're supposed to be meeting. You're just aware that they're coming in and coming towards you. Socially, you gain awareness of the person's tone of voice. We talk about empathy in the emotional culture stuff. You get their body language. Situational awareness, you kind of start to notice perspectives and concepts coming up, and you might have somebody else in there that's got a particular expertise and you might bring them in. And then your emotional reactions are alert to how you are feeling, and you can note if they are proportionate to the environment. The most important aspect of your attention is the juggler. You might be aware that your mind's gone off to another conversation in the room because your name was mentioned, but actually you're not listening to the person that's in front of you. So that self-awareness of the juggler brings you back. You can negotiate a conversation with multiple people and both select and filter points of view. You can hold a goal in mind. You might have a goal for this conversation. You can hold that in mind cognitively. So, and you also can overcome those distractions, the autopilot, the mind wandering. So awareness is being aware of where your attention is. And this is where I think we're starting to really fall short, is we always have our attention on something, but is it focused on what really is important to us? I think deep down we sense that it's a limited resource, because look at the language we use around attention. Pay attention, please. That really grabbed my attention. May I have your attention? You know, it's the most precious resource you have above money. I call the world we live in a Vegas on our attention. If you've ever been to Vegas, always something to do. So welcome to this age of the attention economy. And we are surrounded by weapons of mass distraction. They are everywhere, okay? And forces are constantly trying to figure out how to hijack our attention. It's just too much, you know, and our system can't handle it. And it becomes more stretched and more loaded, and we become what's called more fragmented. Our attention becomes very fragmented. We're over here, we're over there, we're doing this, you know, we're juggling kids, we're juggling maybe school runs or, you know, appointments, running a business. And so the modern myth of multitasking, a sad tale, I call it. We need 20 to 40% more time to complete a task, up to 40% more perceived frustration. And the constant stimulus by email and text messages actually makes us it reduces, we're not as smart. Why do we do it? Well, actually, it's a habit, and habit change is really hard. Our brain loves to be activated by a reward system. When we're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through social media, we scroll because the new is something that we're addicted to. We feel boredom doing only one thing, so we get a bit of FOMO. And we just get downright anxiety or desire, for example, when our cell phone's out of sight. Some of the things you can do is look at working more effectively with email batching, but building in gaps and focus is something that I do. You know, I know that I focus much better in the morning. I put my operational tasks in the afternoon, reduce the amount of potential interruptions. You know, I have the focus setting on my phone in the day. So calls and texts and alerts just don't come through. Agree on full attention in meetings and make them shorter. Like, it's been shown that a shorter meeting is a more effective meeting. The thing about mindfulness meditation is it actually does train your attention. When you're meditating, your mind will wander, and then it will wander again, and then it will wander again. Every time you notice it wandering and you pull it back, that is a bicep curl for your attention. Just 12 minutes a day has been shown to have an effect on your attention. Rather than beating yourself up because your mind wanders, you give yourself an internal high five because you've noticed and you've brought it back. Every time you start again, it's not a failure, it's a success.